لله الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك ولم يكن له ولي من الذل وكبره تكبيرا. الله أكبر. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اذكروا الله ذكرا كثيرا وسبحوه بكرة وأصيلا. هو الذي يصلي عليكم وملائكته ليخرجكم من الظلمات إلى النور وكان بالمؤمنين رحيما. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء إمام المرسلين خاتم النبيين أبي القاسم محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلى الله
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. آمين يا رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum to all. Juma Mubarak. You know, I try to involve you guys. I hope you don't take it the wrong way. I'm picking on you. So if I ask a question, I'll just put my head down. I'm not going to look at anybody. If anybody wants to jump in, please do jump in.
No, we won't.
Two reasons for that. Number one, it makes it easier for me because I feel like everyone's engaged. And secondly, I think I know Hasnain a couple weeks ago, the point that stuck out to him was in the khutbah was when he got involved in it. And he's like, oh, that part stuck out to me. So inshallah, you know, if we all get involved, the message can stick with us. We can have a remembrance that lasts, and inshallah we can act upon it as well. So we are gathered here today for a Jummah gathering, like we discussed last week, and the Jazak was on the phone right now saying that it's a call to leave the distraction of the dunya. It's a call to leave the business and the pleasure, to seek provision from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that provision is very multifaceted. And so the ayah that I quoted at the beginning of this khutbah is from Surah Yasin. Thank you. It's what we recite weekly. And I think it's ayah number 69 and 70. And it states that وَمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ الشِّعْرَ. Starts off by saying, Allah is saying to us that He has not taught Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He has not taught the Prophet shi'ra, which is poetry. وَلَا يَنْبَغِي لَهُ. It doesn't suit him. It doesn't suit the Prophet that he should speak poetry. So I want to go into that. I could do a whole section on poetry right now because there's an entire surah in the Quran, number 26, which is called Surah Ash-Shu'ara, which is the poets, the plural version of the poets, right? We can do an entire thing on poetry as discussed in the Quran, but it's something basically that Allah does not really honor in people. It's not something that's, exalted in Allah's eyes, right? And so He's saying that, even though the Quran has a rhythmic pattern to it, which has made it easy for people to remember, it's not poetry, and it should not be confused for poetry. And it's not suitable for Rasulullah to be a poet. Okay, it's not suitable for him. In huwa illa dhikrun wa Qur'anun mubin. It's except a reminder. Okay, and this word I'm going to discuss throughout the portion in this khutbah. It's but a reminder and a Qur'anun mubin, and a Quran that clarifies. Okay, a Quran that manifests or clarifies. So inshallah, poetry in pre-Islamic Arabia was usually coupled with alcohol. And they used to do it to embellish things, when they used to win certain battles, there's poetry to celebrate, to embellish the victory. Or when there's a hardship, there's poetry to get emotion out of you, and so it's usually ascribed to embellish and exaggerate emotions. And so this Quran, Allah is saying, is not something that is exaggerated. It's not something that is embellished. It is the truth. And if you read the Quran, it has a very serious tone to it. There's no humor in the Quran. There's no embellishment. There's no emotional kind of exaggeration in the Quran. It's a very even-keeled book that seeks to demonstrate to us the truth. Okay, So the two things that I want to discuss is first Qur'anun Mubin. In that ayah it says, what is Qur'anun Mubin? It is a recitation that is clear. Okay, but Mubin, like we just discussed last week, it could make things that are confusing, hard to grasp, ease it for us, right? Make it easy for us to understand, clarify it for us. And it could take stuff that is hidden and manifest it to our reality. Okay? So I want to discuss our internal realm right now. Okay, and stick with me throughout this. In Surah Taha, it says that Allah knows what is apparent in speech and what is hidden inside of us. And then he says something else, the third thing, that which is not even hidden but not even apparent is akhfa, like it's deep inside our subconscious. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And so in our internal realm, right, there are things which are hidden and disclosed from us, and what the Quran seeks to do when we recite it is to bring that into and manifest it into the physical realm. So take something that's deep in our subconscious and almost raise it up and make it to our conscious thought and our conscious actions. Okay? So I'll give an example right now. Okay? Let's say every morning, Shane, you wake up and you drink this concoction of a liquid or a juice or whatever, a shake that you're drinking. And you realize, every day you're feeling like a bloating in your stomach. There's like an ache in your stomach that's happening. And you don't know what's causing it. It could be the thing that you drank in the morning, it could be the rest of the things you're doing throughout the day. Now imagine an expert comes and knows your body, Shane's body, and tells you, what, you should avoid this drink that you're drinking. This is what's causing the pain in your stomach. And then you take it out of your diet and you realize that you're feeling much better, right? So you've realized something that's toxic now that's causing that pain inside of you, right? So similarly, spiritually, right? Allah tells us in the Quran to avoid certain things which are poisonous to us. Now, there's two options. The one option is that we don't know that that's a poison. So we're feeling this pain, we're feeling this discomfort. And of course I'm using an analogy, but there's spiritual pains and discomforts as well, mental pains and discomforts. But we don't know what to attribute it to. We don't know what's causing that pain inside of us. So Allah is giving us a code, and it's from somebody that knows us better than anybody else. And He's telling us to avoid this, and to do the X, Y, and Z. And once we do it, our pains, start to go away. So there's two options. Number one, we don't even know what's causing the pain. We're ignorant of the sin that's causing this pain inside our lives. And number two, we become aware, but we don't follow the guideline. Okay? And so both these things can cause a tremendous pain in our lives. So this is the internal realm that through the Quran, Allah seeks to make aware to us what it is that's causing certain reactions in our life. And then there's the existential realm, the outside universe, that Allah also seeks to bring a clarity towards through the Quran. Okay? So many times in the Quran it's referred to as a light. Right? And what does the light do? It manifests that which is dark and makes it clear to us, right? Takes the hidden, makes it apparent. Takes the ambiguous, makes it clear. And so all these things Allah is seeking to do with the recitation of the Quran. So, وَمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ الشِّعْرَ وَمَا يَنْبَغِي لَهُ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا ذِكْرٌ وَقُرْآنٌ مُبِينٌ. Okay? There's a lot of things inside our subconscious and our souls that we have forgotten, and that dhikr, Allah seeks to bring a reminder to them. Okay? And then it says that وَمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ الشِّعْرَ وَمَا يَنْبَغِي لَهُ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا ذِكْرٌ وَقُرْآنٌ مُبِينٌ لِيُنذِرَ مَنْ كَانَ حَيًّا. So it's a reminder for the one who is alive. Okay? And this life is more than just a physical life that Allah is speaking of. Okay? There's an internal life that Allah seeks to bring out of us, and this is a reminder for the people who are internally alive, who are seeing with their eyes. So I know 2 weeks ago, Mahdi was here and he asked you, do you have ice? And you thought what? He was asking you, do you have eyes? Right? And so Allah usually does that throughout the Quran. He says, أَفَلَا يُبْصِرُونَ. Right? Do you not see? أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Do you not see? Like, and you're already subconscious of that because you're missing your glasses, so you already thought maybe I can't see stuff, right? But Allah usually tells us in the Quran, أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Don't you see? أَفَلَا تُسْمَعُونَ. Don't you hear? أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Don't you use your reasons, right? And so Allah, through these means, is telling us to wake up to the real reality of this life. And last week we got into the definition of dunya, where it comes from. It comes from the word adn. Okay? And adna means something that is close, accessible, easy to grasp onto. Okay? This is what the word dunya is based in. Is this three-letter verb, which is adna, something that's close. Okay? So Allah is telling us to, something can be close and accessible and easy, but it's not the reality most of the times. Right? The shortcut usually doesn't get you what you want in life. Right? If you're in a diet or a physical program, there's no shortcuts. You got to take the long way. You got to trust the process. So Allah through the Quran lets us know that we have to trust the process, get back on His path, and seek that which is not apparent to us, but Allah slowly makes it apparent to us throughout the Quran. Okay? So that is the dunya, that we are in this material realm that is very close to us. And with the help of Allah, we can seek that which is hidden and have confidence in Allah, that iman in Allah, that He is taking us to that which is truth and that which is righteous, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal-asr. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawasaw bil-haqqi wa tawasaw bis-sabr.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala al-nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وكذلك أوحينا إليك روحا من أمرنا ما كنت تدري ما الكتاب ولا الإيمان ولكن جعلناه نورا نهدي به من يشاء من عبادنا وإنك لتهدي إلى صراط مستقيم صراط الله الذي له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض ألا إلى الله تصير الأمور. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
So in the previous portion of the khutbah, we discussed that the Quran gives us life, and it gives life to that which is dead inside of us. But then the logical question becomes now, how does that happen, right? So first thing we have to establish that the Quran is not a book of tales. It's not a fairy tale book. These stories have truth inside of them. Allah usually refers to the people that when the ayahs come to them, their only objection is to say that it's asatirul awwaleen, that it's tales of the previous people. And Allah is trying to tell us here that no, these are not tales, these are actual stories that have happened, and embedded in them are messages, right? So the question becomes now, how do we get guided by the Quran if indeed Allah's promise is true? If indeed Allah states in the Quran that He will guide us through this book. So number one, in Surah Shura, which is number 42, the very last ayah of that Quran, it says, "Thus, O Muhammad, did we reveal to you our guidance by our command." But the interesting thing is that the word "awhayna ilayka ruhan" is used. And what is a ruh when we talk about the ruh? Is a spirit, right? It's like when Jesus alayhi salam and Nabi Isa alayhi salam had a bird that was clay, and he blew into it, the ruh, it became a living bird by Allah's permission, right? So this spirit that Allah blew into us, when He created us, our father, Nabi Adam alayhi salam, He blew a spirit inside of us to give us life, right? And without that spirit, it's just a lifeless body. Like Allah refers to that in Arabic as jasad, something that is robotic, something that has no consciousness. There's no life spirit inside of it. Now Allah is referring to this book as a spirit that He has inspired to us. So this book itself is an energy or a spirit. Ruh can mean an energy or a spirit that has the ability to do what? To give life, right? So there's some sort of frequency that this Quran operates at, that once it touches you, it has the ability to start giving you life. And that's why we see that throughout the Quran, that analogy of the water hitting the earth is made. And the water is what? Anzalna minas sama. It is sent down from the heavens to give life to a barren land, right? And usually in the Quran, that's correlated with the revelations that have come down in the past, especially the Quran, because the same word is used. وَأَنزَلْنَا, right? إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابِ. We have sent down to you. So it has that same ability to give you life the way it does to a barren land. But instead of it being water, it's a spirit, Allah is saying in this ayah. And thus we have revealed to you, we have inspired to you a spirit from our command. You did not know what the book was before this. You did not know what this book was, nor did you know what faith was, what iman was, what trust was. But we made it a light by which we guide whomsoever we will of our servants. And verily you guide to the straight path. So here the address is to Rasulullah, but it's a second person pronoun. Okay? Second person pronoun is كَذَلِكَ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ. It's saying that we revealed to you. Obviously it's referring to Rasulullah, but through that it's also referring to us in the second person when we read the Quran. Right? So there are addresses directly to Rasulullah, Ya Ayyuhan Nabi, that's mentioned throughout the Quran, that's specifically, exclusively to Rasulullah. But when we pick up this book and there's that second person pronoun that's used, the ka, you, its first person is Rasulullah, but the second person is the reader that picks up this book. Okay? So Allah is speaking to us and telling us that we have sent down to you from the heavens a spirit from us, an energy from us that has the capacity to what? To give you life, to make that which is confusing clear, to make that which is hidden manifest, to make the truth apparent to you. And we live in a world right now where everything is ambiguous. And people are getting pleasure out of making things ambiguous. No, I don't want to take this side, I want to take that side. Things aren't what they seem, there's more to it. But Allah throughout the Quran seeks to bring clarity to ambiguity. Allah does not like ambiguity. He likes to make things clear inside your head and inside your nafs as well, so that you can take the proper action that can lead you to the straight path. Right? Because a lot of times in the outside world what we'll get people who try to give us doubt, who try to give us fear, who try to make us feel guilty, who try to make us feel shameful. What do all those things have in common? Negative emotions, right? They have the ability to make our energy get down. But Allah in this book never makes you feel like that. He guides you through mercy, through compassion, through positive feelings. To build trust inside of you, to give you faith, to give you clarity. All these things energize you. So the spirit that's contained in this Quran, right, it got revealed to Rasulullah, but it's the same spirit that existed the whole time before Rasulullah came and revelation was sent to all the prophets. That's why in the Quran it says those who we gave the book to before, they recognize this better than they recognize their own sons. You have three sons?
Mana kucing?
See,
Char. Bija કેટલા છે?
So Allah uses this analogy like you can recognize, you know your sons. They're inside, they're outside. You know
At least I think
them.
that.
At least you think you know. But you can recognize them, right? So Allah uses this analogy in the Quran that those we have given the scripture to previously recognize this and Rasulullah like they recognize their own sons. Because they've already been touched by the Spirit. So they know that this is the guiding Spirit. Okay? Nabi Isa alayhi salam was the guiding Spirit. Those scriptures got deviated, a little misconstrued. But this one has been protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is the book, okay? It is the energy, it is the Spirit that's going to guide us all, to give us the truth, to take us out of darknesses into the light, inshallah. And we pray today that Allah can guide each and every one of us onto the straight path, to make things easier for us, to take the confusion out of our life, and to give us clarity so that we can seek the truth by His will. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اللهم صل على